Hello everyone. So in this video, we'll be discussing the remaining part of yesterday's video, which we were learning about solving equations by multiplication and division. So in yesterday's video, it was very clearly explained how do you solve equations of multiplication and division. We just need to do the opposite, but always as always, before we start, quickly let's revise what was the lesson about. Now, as we know, in this particular lesson, we are solving multiplication and division equations. So always, if you want to solve, you have to use the inverse operations. So if the equation was for multiplication, we will be using division to solve the equation. If the equation was for division, we will use multiplication to solve the equation. So this table we have been looking at quite a few times. All right, so we have the operation which is multiplication, so the inverse is division. And if the operation was division, the inverse is multiplication. Hopefully this is the last time we are looking at this table. Okay, so again, this is the most important one where you have to remember the rules of integers, the integer rules when multiplying and dividing. Why I'm keeping on repeating it's important, it is very important. You will learn that later on why it's important, but you have to remember the rules. If you can every day, once just write down the rules somewhere in a paper and stick it where you on your study table or anywhere you look at most often. Just look at it once in a day, you will remember the rules. Okay, now the rules for multiplying and dividing integers were if you are dividing or multiplying, if any one negative number, if you're dividing or multiplying any one negative number, your answer will be always negative. And if you are multiplying or dividing two negative numbers or two positive numbers, or in other words, if the signs are the same and you're dividing or multiplying, your answer will always be positive numbers. So this lesson we have been learning from, I think, 2 weeks back in a video I was teaching you, and since then I'm keeping on repeating so that you won't forget. Do keep these rules in mind. Okay, now yesterday we were learning about how to solve equations. Now the multiplication equations are easy because you just need to multiply. But only some of the place where I feel most of you will get confused is when you have to divide fractions. Dividing numbers normally is easy, but when you have to divide fractions, yes, we have to use KCF. If you have not watched yesterday's video, you can see the I above the video. Click on that. That's the link for yesterday's video, so you can go and watch that. Okay, so here again, 1/4 multiplied by V, which means to solve for V, we have to do the opposite. We have to divide 1/4 with -3/5, -3/4. So V is going to be equal to -3/4 divided by 1/5. Now, as we know, we cannot divide. We have to use the rule keep, change, flip. So we keep the first term the same. Then we change the sign. The multiplication, the division becomes multiplication, and we flip the fraction. So 4 goes up and 1 comes down. Now let's solve this. So we have negative sign. 3 4s are 12 and 4 1s are 4. So negative is always there as it's the sign there. So 12 divided by 4 will give us -3. Okay, so V equals -3. Now let's check whether the answer we got is correct or not. Now 1/4 multiplied by -3, because we got the answer as -3. So 1 multiplied by -3 is -3. 4 multiplied by 1 is 4. We put the common negative sign. So both the sides we have -3/4. -3/4, which means V equals to -3 was the right answer. So I explained this part because most of you will have confusion in multiplying or dividing fractions. That's why I explained you. That was a quick review of yesterday's lesson. Today in this video, we'll be concentrating more on problem solving questions. All right. So as you know, in problem solving, you have to read the question very carefully. You have to underline the important words or the key words, and then only you can solve the question. So this question says, now you might wonder what's this red color recreation, and in the next one there is another word. This is the question related field. Like recreation means party or fun times. So this question is based on that. Okay, The baseball birthday batter package at a minor league ballpark costs $192. So, in easy words, a birthday package costs $192. So, for us, the important word here is the cost of the package. Cost is $192. The package includes, now, for example, you go to a park, okay, you will get a package. For example, every Monday in Safari Land, you have a package of 55 riyals. Monday or Tuesday? I think it's Monday. So if you give 55 riyals, they will give you, I think, a meal of herfi, and then they will give you a band which you can play the unlimited rides. So this is a package for 55 riyals we get in Safari Land. Same like that, in this place, they are getting a package for $192 that includes tickets, drinks, and cake for a group of 16 children. So this cost 192 is for 16 children. So to find the cost of one child, you will understand what we need to do. We need to divide, right? So 192 divided by 16 will give you the cost of one child, because 192 is for 16 children. But here they said write and solve an equation to find the cost per child. So you have to find the cost for one child. So we have to write an equation. As you know, now we have to divide. But when you write the equation, write the opposite of what we are going to do. So 192 divided by 16 will give us the cost of one child. So what's the opposite of divide? Multiply. So we write the equation for multiplication so that we can divide. Okay. Now how do you write the equation for multiplication? We have number of children, that's 16, okay, multiplied by the cost per child. So we are finding the cost per child. If you multiply the number of children by the cost of one child, that will give you $192. So we are writing the equation for dividing, but we will do, we are writing the equation for multiplication, but we will divide because we have to solve it. How are you going to solve it? 16c. We can write 16 multiplied by c as 16c, right? Equals 192. So this is going to be your equation. Now you all know how to solve. So c is going to be equal to 192 over 16. So which means if you divide 192 by 16 by using the long division way, you will get c equals 12, which means the cost per child is $12. This is how you have to write an equation and solve. First, read the question, understand what you need to do, and write the opposite as an equation, and then you can solve it. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Now see, this is about nutrition. Nutrition means how much energy and all these things. So the question is related to that. An orange contains about 80 milligrams of vitamin C, which is 10 times as much as an apple contains. As we all know, orange has high amount of vitamin C. Write and solve an equation to find the amount of vitamin C in an apple. That's why when you get a flu or a cold, they say eat more oranges because it has more vitamin C. See, you can even learn tips. You are not only learning math, you are even learning many useful other things also. Okay, so an orange contains 80 milligrams of vitamin C, which is 10 times as much as an apple contains. So an apple has some amount of vitamin C, 10 times. What does this word times indicate? You know, multiply, right? So apple multiplied 10 times will give you the amount of vitamin C the orange has. So can we write the equation now? So vitamin in an apple, we don't know. We don't know. So I kept it as V. You can use any letter you want. You can even use A, no problem. So multiplied, which means times, how many? 10. So V multiplied 10 is 8, right? So let's write the equation properly. 10 multiply V will give you 10V equals 80. So this is going to be your equation. Even you don't need to do the steps. You can do this mentally. So V is equal to 80 divided by 10, which is going to give you an 8. Easy. So an apple has 8 milligrams of vitamin C and an orange has 80 milligrams of vitamin C. So to get the amount of vitamin C in an orange, you have to eat 10 apples. So that's what it means, which is not possible. Nobody likes to eat so much of apples, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next question. we have a question about Earth science. So we are going to learn something about the Earth and the other planets, I guess. Okay. Your weight on the moon is about 1/6 of your weight on Earth. Okay, so this is something new to you, right? Your weight on the moon. So if you go to the moon, if ever you go to the moon, your weight will be 1/6 of your weight on Earth. So it will be less on the moon. You will know there is a scientific reason why it's less, because there is no gravitation on the moon. That's why when you see the clips of people on the moon, they just keep flying like that, because there is no gravitation on the moon. So that's why your weight is less also. On the earth, we are like, we are on the ground because there is gravitation on the earth. We are on the earth. If not, we will also be flying on the earth if we don't have gravity on the earth. Okay, so your weight on the moon is about 1/6 of your weight on Earth. So if anyone is too heavy, you can go and live on the moon. You will be very less weight. Write and solve an equation to show how much a person weighs on Earth if he weighs 16 pounds on the moon. Now imagine you went to the moon, and when you weighed yourself, you're only 16 pounds, but you came back to the Earth. And when you see your weight, is it going to be more or less? Of course it's going to be more, right? How could you check the answer? Okay, this part is not needed, but we need to find out how much is our weight on Earth if we were 16 pounds on the moon. Okay, so as you know, what you have to do is you have to multiply, right? 1/6 by how much? Your weight on Earth, we don't know. That's what we are going to find. Okay. So let that be W multiplied by 1/6 will give you 16. So your weight on Earth multiplied by 1/6 times will be your weight on the moon. So let's rewrite this equation now. That's going to be 1/6 W equals 16, right? So what you need to do, as you know, 1/6 multiply, so you have to divide it. So when you divide, it's going to be W equals 16 divided by 1/6. All right, again, it's dividing fractions. So what comes in here? Here comes KCF, not KFC, KCF. Okay, so keep it, change it, and flip it over. So we are going to multiply 16 by 6. So that's going to give us 96. 16 multiplied by 6 will give you 96. 1 multiplied by 1 will give you 1. So 96 divided by 1 will give you 96. So that were all the 3 problem solving questions you needed to understand. Try to do it by yourself. Once you have watched this video, the same question, try to read it without, of course, the answer, and try to solve it by yourself and see whether you are getting the correct answers. That's how you can practice, practice, and practice and become perfect. Because no, you don't want anyone saying you are not good in math. You want everyone to say that you are smart, because if anyone is good in math means they are very smart, right? Okay, so this was all your lesson for today. So don't forget to like, or if you have any problem which you don't understand, you can ask me in the comments below, or you know the ways to ask me, so that if you have any basic problems like multiplying fractions or dividing fractions, I can make another video. Of course, there is no enough time in this video to do everything. So I can make a special video and then you can watch that. So keep practicing, keep studying. Okay, so till we meet again in another video, do like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you have not watched any of the videos related to this, go back to the channel and watch them. So till we meet again,